Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
This is 23-2593, the state of Michigan versus Christopher Andrew Ferry. Detective, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Can you state your name for the record?
Detective Philip Collop.
Have you read the typed complaint that was filed with the court?
I have.
All right. And are the facts stated in the complaint true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
Can you state the facts that support the issuance of the arrest warrant?
Yes, I will. So on 11/8 of this year, Taylor officers were dispatched to Laurie Street on a report of a male, defendant Christopher Ferry, pointing a hunting rifle at his roommate, the caller and the victim, Ronald Wyatt. Upon arrival, officers arrived and spoke with the victim, Wyatt, outside of the residence down the block a little bit. While speaking with him, he stated that he got into a verbal altercation inside the residence with Ferry when they began to argue about Ferry taking items from the bathroom. Ferry became enraged, went to his bedroom, retrieved a black hunting rifle, exited the bedroom, and then took the firearm and pointed it at the victim's head and stated, "I'm going to shoot you." Wyatt, the victim, then fled the location and called 911. Officers went to the residence. They were able to hail Ferry from the residence after several minutes and placed him into custody. Officers, with permission of the owner, Wyatt, and to clear the residence of any possible other victims or suspects, officers entered the residence, and in plain view, officers located the firearm in question that Wyatt had described, which was a black firearm with what appeared to be a rifle. It turned out to be a Crossman Fire Model CF 7SXS pellet gun. Gun was confiscated, logged as property, and Mr. Ferry was brought to Taylor PD.
Okay. Did you sign the complaint before you sent it over to the court?
I did, yes.
All right. Let the record indicate that I find probable cause to believe that the accused committed the alleged offense, and I'll therefore issue the warrant. And Detective Collop, any position on bond?
So this individual is creating quite a nuisance in our jail. He's very suicidal. I would request a high cash bond. I'm not sure as far as if we're gonna have to release him to the hospital, but he's tried to commit suicide I think like 5 times already. But
okay.
High cash bond, GPS tether, and obviously no firearms if he has any others.
Okay. All right. I'll take that on into consideration. Thank you. I think he's being arraigned this afternoon.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Oh, I might actually need to keep that, or Mr. Manto might need it for arraignment. All right. This is 23-2593, the People versus Christopher Andrew Ferry.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Jeffrey Fant on behalf of Mr. Ferry.
Okay, and Mr. Ferry, can you tell me your name?
My name is Christopher Andrew Ferry.
All right, thank you. So we're here today for purposes of arraignment on 2 felony charges. Mr. Fanto?
We can wait for all reading and stand mute.
All right, I'm going to enter a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. I've signed the request for a court-appointed attorney for the file. Sir, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say orally or in writing can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and you have a right to have that attorney present during any future questioning and any future court hearings. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney, the court would appoint one, as Mr. Fanto is appointed today, and I've signed your request for a court-appointed attorney in the future. You have 2 court dates coming up within the next 21 days. The first is your probable cause conference. Your probable cause conference is set for November 20th of 2023, and you can appear via Zoom for that hearing. The second one is your preliminary exam, where the prosecutor must show that a crime was committed and probable cause exists to charge you with that crime. That date is November 27, 2023, and it will be in person at the 23rd District Court.
Okay.
So, okay, and then Mr. Fanto, as to bond.
Judge, no history, no holds. I've explained to him that he can have no contact with Mr. Wyatt of any nature. I've explained to him the officer assist program where he can ask the police department to stand by so he can get personal items. He does have an address, which is on his advice of rights. That is his mother's address, so he has a place to go. And there's no other reason for him to have any contact with Mr. Wyatt. They don't work together. So I would ask the court for personal bond at this point.
The officer was here when he swore to the complaint, and he expressed some concerns regarding this particular defendant as it applies to bond or as it goes to bond, because apparently the defendant has been incredibly disruptive over to the jail and has been making some
Ma'am, if I may.
statement. Sir, I'm making a record real quick, has made some statements regarding self-harm and some other issues that, are certainly of concern, Mr. Fanto, so you're aware.
I am aware, Judge. Nothing towards the alleged victim in this matter.
I have to take into consideration, he's got no holds. I don't see a prior criminal history. These are assaultive cases. They're concerning to me because the allegations involved a firearm against a roommate. Sir, your conditions will be that you appear in court as directed. You not leave the state without permission of the court. You not commit any new crimes while released. You immediately notify the court of change of address or phone number. You have no contact with Ronald Wyatt, his home, his employment. And I want to make sure you understand this, sir. No contact means no contact. You can't have other people contact him. You can't contact him. You can't send him anything. You can't email him. You can't call him. You can't text message him. You can't Facebook him. You are to have no contact. And if you have any contact and it comes to my attention, I will revoke your bond and you will sit in the Wayne County Jail for the pendency of this case, sir.
Yes, ma'am, understood.
All right, and we're gonna allow one visit to obtain his personal belongings accompanied by a police officer. Can't possess or have access to firearms. And at this point, I'm setting the bond at $10,000, 10% with the GPS tether.
I can't afford that.
Sir, do you have family that you can call?
They can't afford that, ma'am. Ma'am, can I be honest with you? These allegations that have been made against me are very much.
Mr. Ferry, don't talk about the case, okay?
Yeah,
on
listen.
record, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, you have a constitutional right to remain silent, sir. And it is,
I know I do, but please, I know what I'm doing. I know that I'm innocent. I know I didn't do these things that I am being accused of doing.
All right,
And I can prove it.
Okay, well, you're gonna have, well, sir, you don't have to prove anything. They have to prove your guilt. You don't have to prove your innocence, but listen. I have some serious concerns. And I mean, Mr. Gazicki, could you, or I'm sorry, Mr. Fanto, can you approach? All right, I'm not modifying bond at this time. When you come in for your probable cause conference, I'll readdress it with your counsel. But for now, it's 10,000, 10% with the GPS tether. And I've just written on here that, that he needs to be assessed.
If you could mark it as medical for that purpose and ask for pretrial services to review.
So so I'm not getting out today then?
You need $1,000. Well, they won't because of the tether, but you need $1,000 and then they'll put a GPS tether and you can be released at that point.
I don't have $1,000. Is there any way that I can make a small payment towards the bond?
No, sir, based on the charges, I think this is an appropriate bond. And I am the judge of record on this case and I will reassess it. And I have asked or put in an order for pretrial services to assess your case and give us a bond recommendation. So hopefully we'll have that done by your next hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Officer Shackleford.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good afternoon.
All right, thank you.